woman died in Chhattisgarh after her husband had unnatural sex with her. This conversation did not make to mainstream news channels
Not
and
at
news
all.
shows. Everybody was still banging on and on about Ranveer Allahbadia and Samay Raina and the show and the vulgarity. What do you say to that?
It is sensational to us. We are horrified with it because we are women. We are horrified with the fact that, the High Court threw it out and he was not charged with culpable of murder
Yeah.
because
There's
there's
no
no,
such thing
no
as marital
marital
rape.
rape in this country.
It's not recognized.
And any woman, any wife over a certain age has no consent, right? And that is something we've been grappling about with for ages. But it does not horrify anybody else, right? It does not horrify the men around.
Because there are two things. Because one, there is no celebrity involved.
Okay.
There's no famous person involved in this, yeah? And secondly, because it concerns a woman. A couple of celebrities have spoken about Ranveer Allahbadia and his show.
more than a couple, I think.
I wish they would also speak about other important topics, because when you have that kind of following in real life and online is when you can actually bring about legislation and make a difference. Who are the people who've tweeted about Ranveer?
I think Ajay Devgan did. I think
That some musician did?
P.
B.
Prak.
Prak, yeah.
He did. And there were many people. I think some politicians did as well.
Yeah.
But a number of people did tweet out about
I think
this.
some other actors have also tweeted. Someone was telling me, saying that we regret having appeared on his show.
But I don't know who they are.
But it would be wonderful if we got engagement for other important subjects and matters also.
But those wouldn't give so many eyeballs, right? As
I
something
mean,
that is
you're already
controversial.
a big star. Why do you need eyeballs for something like this?
This is
Make a difference.
if we had big stars making a difference on social issues, we would be a different country.
Kiran, there's a very fine line between vulgarity and humor. In the Western culture, that line doesn't exist. Ranveer Allahbadia has crossed that line, and he finds himself in the eye of a storm, which is being discussed across national television, all sorts of platforms, nationwide, perhaps even free international media. Do you think this merits this kind of coverage?
It definitely is an overreaction. We have a lot more vulgar things out there. You just have to listen to some songs. You just have to see some reels that are being put out on Instagram. This was not a joke in good taste. It was not a question that was in good
was
taste.
horrible.
It was in very bad taste.
It was awful, actually.
But does it
Yeah.
merit police complaints and FIRs? I don't think so.
Absolutely not, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking, is it just me who thinks this is, everybody is overreacting, or what is this? Some people are trying to distract themselves from their own troubles by focusing on some guy who's achieved a certain level of social media success.
Some sort of Schadenfreude. Let's pull
It
him
is
down.
Schadenfreude.
Let's pull him down while he's up.
But I also think, Kiran, the fact is that Ranveer's brand, his plank has been Sanatan Dharam.
Yeah.
He gets gurus and saints and astrologers and, Shiv Bhakts on his podcast. He talks about Hanuman and Devi worship.
Yeah,
And
and the
he
Mahakal.
has actually, I must say this, that he has influenced even people that I know, younger people that I know, because they all feel it's cool to take to Hindu Dharam, it's cool to be spiritual, it's cool to be religious. Now, when that is your plank and you talk about parental incest or say vulgar things on a show that is going to be broadcast on YouTube, right? And everyone has access to YouTube, then you are certainly asking for trouble. And so the conversation of where does vulgarity end and humor begin is an important conversation.
I think it's a conversation that we don't have at all in this country because
Yeah.
vulgarity is often conflated with
Yeah.
humor. The sad thing is that it wasn't even funny.
It was not funny. It was a borrowed joke. It was not even original.
It wasn't even
I think, it's like a nerd who gets invited to a party and who's trying to fit in and he thinks, I'm going to crack a joke now. And then in the clip that we saw, people were all shocked,
Even Samay Raina himself was shocked.
right?
Yeah.
You saw his brow arch upwards.
Bro, what are you saying, bro?
For that matter, humor in the West. I've attended some stand-up comedy shows and my ears were burning. And as old-fashioned as I sound, I just think that the tackiest form of humor and the most effortless form of humor is vulgar humor, because it takes serious intelligence to come up with something that goes beyond, your intimate body parts and involving them in some sort of a joke. And I just find all the half-wit people who crack it, and the audience also laughs. So I think in overall, a dumbing down is happening, and easy access to OTT and all these shows is normalizing this language, is normalizing roasts where people are atrociously vulgar and say the most horrifying things that, if
You
my
would never say in person to another person without your nose getting smashed in.
Exactly. So, I mean, in some ways, I feel that this conversation was important. This conversation about humor and vulgarity is important in context of the country that we are. This is not our culture. No matter how progressive you are, using foul language or using really crass humor is not called being progressive.